Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I'm sure we're all doing fantastic. Well, I'm very happy today because today we are making something very special by most Ghanaians. It's a very common meal, but it's not common in the streets, and that is why I'm going to show you how to make it. And this is APAPRANSA. This has been a highly requested video as well by my own best friend and sister, my own maid of Anna, Esther. I call her Super. You've been asking this ever since I started the channel, and it's been like, is it about 8 months? Yeah, and I'm so sorry. So today, no time to waste at all. I'm going to show you how to make the APAPRANSA. I always post and you keep bugging me with it. If you do watch it and you don't leave a comment, I am going to come to Ghana and discipline you. And if you do try it, don't forget to tag me on your Instagram status, okay? No more talking, let's get straight into it. So I'm going to take you through the list of ingredients. Over here I've got my onions, and usually for this recipe you need a palm soup base. So when you're making palm nut soup I mean, you can just scoop some when it's almost ready, but I'm going to show you a quick palm nut soup for this recipe. But if you want to see an in-depth palm nut soup recipe, I've linked it above now, just check it out. So if you had palm nut soup, what you would normally need is just some corn flour, but in my case, because of my sweet tooth, I always use Tom Brown, because Tom Brown has got a lot more in there. It's got some peanut in there, and it makes your APAPRANSA pink. It makes it taste so good. If you do not know how to make Tom Brown, find the link above now and you see an in-depth Tom Brown recipe. So as I said before, usually you would use roasted corn flour, but my sweet tooth won't leave me alone. So I'm using Tom Brown, okay? Don't forget to check the in-depth recipe for it. So yeah, let's continue. I've also got my tomatoes, my Scotch bonnet pepper. Here I've got some ginger, garlic and onion, which I've grinded already. I normally freeze it in the fridge like this. I've also got some salt. I've also got some shrimp seasoning and my vegetable seasoning. Of course, my Tom Brown, some palm oil. In here, I've got some inkitingiti, also known as aniseed. I've got some cloves, known as pepper. And I've also got some black peppercorns. In here is my palm nut soup base. I'm using inkulenu. And this is optional, but this will come as a side for the APAPRANSA. And this is some beans. And of course, we can't make this recipe without some crabs. So in here is some crabs. I've washed and cleaned it perfectly. And of course, I don't waste any food in my house at all. So I've got some leftover meat from some soup I made recently. I'm going to use that so that it will give more taste to our palm soup for the APAPRANSA. Usually I wouldn't do this if I was making soup, actually just soup on itself, but I don't like food to go waste, so I always improvise. So I'm going to use this for the base to give it more taste. So let's get straight into it. Alright, let's begin by cutting half of one large onion into really tiny chunks to kickstart our soup base for our APAPRANSA. Into a pot, I'll add my leftover meat. Of course, my crab. I can't wait to dig into this crab, guys. It's been a minute. I'll also add half of the large onion I chopped earlier, my tomatoes, pepper, ginger, garlic and onion blend mix, and of course our chopped onions. Don't forget this part because it adds a lot of flavor to the soup base for your APAPRANSA. I'll also add some vegetable seasoning, half of my Beyond cube and some salt. I'll then grind my dry natural ingredients, as you do not want the hard bits in there, into a very smooth powder. Add it to the rest of the ingredients as well as a tiny bit of water to kickstart our soup. I'll then cover this fully, set it on fire on high heat and allow it to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I'll stir it very gently in order not to tear apart our crab and also not squash our tomatoes and onions, which we'll be blending later. The reason why you need to treat this part with TLC is because this recipe is all about the crab, so you want it to be as intact as possible, okay? After another 7 minutes of cooking time, I'll carefully take out the tomatoes, pepper and onion for blending, which will be added to the soup later. Remember, I told you this recipe is mostly also about the crab, so what I'm going to do is to take out the crab as well as any fish in there. This time is adjune. I'll take them all out, which I'll be adding later because I don't want to squash it, because I want the distinct and unique flavor of the crab to the soup. As you can see, I've added my palm soup base, which I'll stir and cover and allow it to boil. While I allow it to come to a boil, I'll blend my ingredients together, that's my tomatoes, onion and pepper, and add it to our soup base, which has been boiling for another 10 minutes. Remember, I did not add any water. The only water I'm adding at this point is the one I'm going to use to rinse our blender so that we make the most of the blended ingredients. I don't want to leave any at all to chance. I'll give this a quick stir and cover it and allow it to come to a boil. After another 10 minutes of boiling on high heat, you can see that the water has evaporated, and that means that the taste has intensified. So we can now add enough water and allow it to cook our base. Odofo ene yekolo kakra, because this food is a local food and it brings so much memory. And at this point, yes, I'm adding my crab to add some flavor, well, to add loads of flavor to the soup before I start with the APAPRANSA. Crab comes with a lot of flavor, so yes, I'll add it and allow it to boil and cook completely. In the meantime, I'll chop up some onions, which I'll be using for garnishing later. And at this point, it is ready for us to take out the crabs. I know it's been a lot of adding and taking out, but that is the only way you're going to attain the maximum flavor. So please try and follow this step exactly. I'll also take out any bones or any extra meat from it, because at this point we are going to start with our APAPRANSA and you want it to be as smooth as possible. If you leave any fish or tiny meats in there, that is fine, because it's all going to add a lot of taste to your APAPRANSA. So this is me adding my Tom Brown now, and you need to be very fast about it or else it's going to be very lumpy. If you noticed before, I set some of the soup aside for this purpose, because once you add the Tom Brown or roasted corn flour, you do not know how hard or light it's going to get. So I always set the soup aside so that I'll add more when needed. And just look at that, it looks so smooth and very, very moist. I'll be turning it in the motion of turning banku, but let me just show you how moist and smooth this is. Just look at that. So I'll keep turning and then I'll add some more soup, cover it and allow it to cook the APAPRANSA completely. Yes, I'm adding some more meat so that when I'm having the APAPRANSA, I can be biting into some meat and mushrooms. It's just lovely. Do try it, okay? I'll cover it and set it on another burner on very low heat and allow the juices of the soup around it to aid cooking the APAPRANSA through. So while that boils, I will then start with my beans. So I've added some palm oil into a pot. I've also added some salted fish. I'll add my onions, stir it and allow it to fry for about 5 minutes. Of course, not forgetting to check on my APAPRANSA while I allow the onions to boil. As you can see, this APAPRANSA is very smooth. It's very moist, so you don't have to do a lot of work. Just give it a little turning here and there, and that is it. No hassle at all. I'll cover it again and allow it to cook through. Checking on my onions, which has fried beautifully. I'll set some aside for garnishing later and add my beans to the rest for frying. I added a little bit of salt to the beans, so there will be no need to add any salt at all when frying the beans. Of course, I'm going to add a little bit of the onions and palm oil to my APAPRANSA for a pop of color. I'll allow my beans to fry on medium-low heat for about 5 minutes and it will be ready. No hassle at all. Very simple, and it pairs so well with the APAPRANSA. I'll also check on my APAPRANSA now and stir it all together to combine, and it will be ready. It's so soft. Just look at that. I will smear some palm oil into a plate, which I'll be using to shape the APAPRANSA into my earthenware. So the palm oil is to prevent the APAPRANSA from sticking into the plate, as we're only transferring it into the plate to shape it into a very nice shape before we transfer it to the earthenware. So I'll spread everything into the plate nicely, pressing down on it so that the shape is formed well. I'll gently transfer the APAPRANSA from the plate to my earthenware to give it that local feel, and it looks amazing. And now I'll be adding my crabs. It doesn't matter if the claws are broken here and there, because you can fix it once you're done garnishing, just as I'm going to do now. I like the results of everything I'm seeing here. People find APAPRANSA to be very tedious, but as you can see, it can be very, very simple. It is very simple. It wasn't tedious at all. Just add enough palm soup or set some aside and add as needed so that it will be soft enough. I'll also drizzle the juices from the crab onto the crab so that we do not miss any flavor at all from the crab. And also, I am going to add the beans, which pairs so well with this APAPRANSA. There is no APAPRANSA without these beans, guys. It's so good, and trust me, this APAPRANSA was really good. My sister-in-law came right on time, just exactly when I finished, and she came to enjoy as well, and she loved it. She said next time I have to make some for her. Now let me serve for you to see how moist and good this is. It's simply amazing. If you're still here, thank you so much for being here. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and kindly share. Thank you so much for doing so. So we haven't done this in a while. It's time for the taste test. And today I'm not going to do it alone because it's actually been a tight one today. So I'm inviting my hubby again.
Hi everyone.
Hi Auntie, right?
Looks good.
Yeah, welcome.
Thanks. Okay.
So we're going to taste it, and he'll go first because he does a lot of work behind the scenes, guys. He helps a lot. And
is it ready?
he deserves to go first. He can't wait. Yeah, he's ready.
Okay. That's for you?
Yeah.
definitely had to go for the meat. Very good. Is that enough?
Yeah, it's enough. I could do with some water, you know, with it.
Okay, well.
No, I'm just fine. We'll do it behind the scenes. Let's end this so we can go enjoy.
The crab is pink. Thanks for having me.
So that's actually it for today. Let's end it together.
Okay, so that's it for today. If you've not liked this page, please make sure you subscribe. If you've not subscribed to this page, please make sure you do. And click on the notification button so that the next time she loads a video, you will definitely be notified. So this is where we end it.
Yeah.
And as she would always say, I love you, but God loves you the most. Bye for now.